When shadows fall and spirits howl, zombies stalk and madmen prowl, monsters lurk and victims shiver. Thrills and chills they will deliver. Arise from your graves and get in the mood. It's time to join the Spooky Dudes.
And we're going to hit the button so it doesn't loop again. Hello, welcome back to Spooky Dudes. Live episode 16 is what I typed in the thing, so it must be right. I'm Corey. Right. And with me tonight, another special guest, a good friend of mine, one of the most supportive dudes in the indie horror scene, prolific worker, a historian, a family man, his Mr. Jed Brian. What's up, dude?
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Sorry it took so long to get our schedules lined up. You know, life.
Life finds a way. I mean, it's all good. And I got to put it on my calendar well in advance to feel like a real adult.
Yeah, so there you go.
There's something to be said about that.
Yeah, it's crazy because it seems like the older I get, the more I have to like schedule things like way in advance. Like you're used to dealing with like you're just your own schedule, and then when you get older, you're like, oh, I have my whole family schedule I got to consider now.
Dude, it's true. I live and die by my Google Calendar. My wife has full access to it. She half the time fills it out for me, right? Like, so you want to hear a really quick aside here. Speaking of planning your life out. So there's a con coming up here in next month in Chattanooga called Metrotham Con. And I bought a table to sell, Spooky Dudes shirts and stuff and just hang out and whatever. I did not know. I didn't put it on the calendar though until 2 weeks ago. And so my wife booked my daughter's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese for the same weekend. And we got family coming in from out of town. I'm like, she's like, what are you going to do about the con? I'm like, I don't know.
No. Someone fill in for me. Just get a cardboard cutout.
I'll trust you to take your shirt and put $20 in the bucket. Yeah. But that's the con where Richard is bringing in John Russo from
cool.
Night of the Living Dead. So I got
to meet him once. Yeah, I met him at Days of the Dead. I think it was Days of the Dead a few years back. He actually had like dirt from the graveyard where Barbara was. They see Johnny and Barbara see the zombie. Yeah, they had the actual dirt, so that was kind of cool.
That's cool. John's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's been selling checks for years that have George Romero's
signature on them. I met Romero, so I didn't have to get one of those. So,
dude, that is one of the saddest horror con stories of my life. Night of the Living Dead's my favorite movie of all time, and George was at Full Moon in Nashville, and we went down for it, and his line was out. It was ridiculously long. And so my buddy stays in line all day to get up there. And like, basically that's when we were going to leave, was once he got up there. And for whatever reason, I was just like, I just don't want to be stuck in that line the whole time. And that's all he did was get his picture taken and autograph from George Romero. But little did I know I'd never get a chance to do that again. So
yeah. They always say, if there's a concert you want to go to, or, a con you want to go to, and there's a celebrity that you want to meet, you better, if you can, you better do everything you can to do it, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow or even, 5 minutes from now.
Absolutely. Yes. Same thing happened with Gunnar Hansen.
Oh,
multiple times I passed by his table, and now I'm in a cool position though of helping run cons, and
right.
I'm getting everybody's autograph. I don't freaking care, But anyway, I'm sure we'll talk about con stuff here in a little bit. But for those of you that don't know Jed, he's, like I said, he's been a friend for years. I was trying to think of how you and I met, and
It was I can't remember if there used to be a guy who so good at scary. He was trying to reach out for people whenever Unlisted Owner came out to try to help get me some podcast interviews. So I'm not sure if he reached out that way and we got it set up, or if I just reached out personally and said, hey, do you want to do an interview or review or whatever? So it's one of those two things happened.
One of those things did happen for sure. I'm just not sure which one, but
yeah.
Look, I'm glad it did, because I mean,
sure.
we're talking about years later. You and I've been keeping up with one another, and 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 kids
on both sides. I had one when we first started talking. I don't think I had Violet yet, my daughter.
Yeah, I think I only had one. Well, Wyatt was born last year, so yeah, so I only had one at the time as well. So
yeah. See, look, life finds a way.
Okay? Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, we talked. I think on that episode it was. I think my friend Michael, or what was it, Michael or Richard? I had like a different co-host for the episode where you came on. But yeah, I mean, we've kept up ever since. Jed also happens to be a big, like I said, history buff.
Yeah.
And I live like right up the road from, a battlefield, like a big giant, Civil War battlefield. So
yeah, it's my favorite area is like where you live. I like going down to Chattanooga, Ringgold, all that area, Chickamauga battlefield. Can't get battlefield burgers anymore, but
you can get Del Taco though. They put a Del Taco down there, so
gotcha.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You just need to move down here. Just get the family. Just move a little further south.
I love that area. I love Chattanooga. It's like one of my favorite places to go visit for sure. So I'm hoping to come down in September for the 160th for Chickamauga. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
That's a good time to be here too, because it's not too hot. It's not too cold.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Unlisted Owner. This movie, I can't even remember what year it came out.
Well, IMDb and Wikipedia like to say it came out in 2013. That's when we showed it for the first time, but it actually wasn't released worldwide, or where you could actually watch it, until November of 2017. So, I mean, it was a good while. We started actually filming principal photography I think it was like September of 2011. And then we finally wrapped everything in 2013, and that's when we also showed it. So yeah, so it's been a little while. It's been quite the journey. It's kind of the movie that doesn't die, because we just did a director's cut version for our new distributor, POV Horror, and it just came out either last year or year before. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was year before. Yeah, year before last. So
yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, and dude, that's just the cover. If you guys check the ticker below, if you go to makeflix.com and just search for Unlisted Owner, the cover is absolute fire. Neil Fraser is amazing.
Oh, very, very talented artist. Just, the first rendition of that poster, whenever COVID was going on and the movie theaters weren't able to show films, a theater about 30 minutes from me, actually, they were doing a drive-in, and they put like a big screen on the front of their on top of their theater in front of their marquee, and they'd have cars come in the parking lot and show it, films. And Gil T. Wilson actually has a podcast called the Nerd Up Podcast, which you've talked to Gil before. He actually suggested me contacting them about possibly showing Unlisted Owner there. So when we were doing that event, I hit up Neil. I'm like, hey, can you design a poster for me for the event? And then he had like the guy with the sickle, and I was like, this is amazing. So when we did the director's cut, I'm like, hey, I need you to do the poster for the director's cut. So that's how that whole thing kind of came together. Plus, Neil is actually in the director's cut. He has a little cameo at the beginning. So he is the guy with the British accent. So he's actually from England. So
that is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I guys, forgive me. I have seen Unlisted Owner actually more than once, but I have not seen the director's cut on Blu-ray yet. I know. Shame.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
That indie horror guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm excited. And for those of you out there who are coming to Bride of FrankenCon, Jed's wearing an amazing shirt there.
Get it. Let's see. Here we go. There you go.
There you go.
There.
FrankenConTN.com. Get your orders in now. We still have some shirts.
They're very nice. Very nice. Fit very well.
Thank you. We spared no expense. There's another Jurassic Park reference. Jed is a featured indie horror film guy who's coming to our con. So he is going to show the director's cut at the con.
Ooh.
And he and I are going to host the Franken Film Fest. I'm excited
for that. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I'm stoked, dude. When I was talking to Richard and Matt, it seemed like the natural choice. And we may have a third host. I don't know yet, but cool. Jed and I are definitely going to be there.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I actually had the opportunity to judge on a film festival a few years back, and that was a lot of fun. So it's going to be kind of cool to be, up there, introducing some of these films from these talented filmmakers.
I've seen last year we didn't judge. But this year we were just like, let's just, the owners just judge it and then we'll decide what's going on and then go from there. But this year I got to say, man, it's a solid crop. Like,
I'm excited.
There's some bangers. I will say this for anybody watching out there that plans on coming to the Franken Film Fest at Bride of FrankenCon, it is not for children. I'll go ahead and go out and say that, and we'll be warning people at the door. So,
well, hopefully your warning goes better than whenever Sausage Party he came out. I remember seeing that in theaters, and there was a guy that had his daughter, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
You could actually call the film fest Sausage Party. It would be appropriate. Wink, wink. But seriously, it's gonna be a killer time. And I was stoked when Jed just said he would come to the con, because I reached out to him and was like, You wanna be our indie film dude? And he's like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, I wish I could have came the first year. It's just with the director's cut wasn't quite out yet, and it wasn't I didn't have the inventory and stuff for the Blu-ray and DVDs and all that stuff. So, and plus I had other stuff coming. Well, I just had a new baby.
That's
new baby, new baby too. So there was a lot of factors, but I'm so excited to come this year. So,
and he will be there Friday and Saturday with stock this time. He's going to have stuff.
Yeah. I'll have stuff. I'll have pictures and Blu-rays, DVDs, posters, and all that stuff. So sign whatever.
That's my dude.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Unlisted Owner, is the main feature you've done by yourself, but you've done a lot, man. I mean, Smiling, remind me here. I talked to Felissa. I brought that up when I first met her, and she talked about it. Was very happy.
That's awesome.
Is a Smiling Woman? It's 3, right?
Let's see.
I got the number wrong.
I think it's we actually changed the numbers because we put them out a certain way. We had an actress that wasn't available for one of them, and so we had to shoot it later after the Felissa stuff. But no, that's a pretty cool thing. So those of you who don't know, there's a YouTube channel that I write for. It's called ACM Official. The guy who does all that, his name's Alex Magana. I've been friends with him since probably about 2018, and he was doing a contest for I can't remember what exactly it was for, but he wrote this Smiling Woman script. He asked me what might make the Smiling Woman, send text messages and, have her her eyes glow red whenever she's about to attack. And that video now has 11 million views. So after that, or, whenever it went viral, we started making other ones. So I actually wrote on Smiling Woman 2, and then I wrote on Smiling Woman, I think that's 4 and 5, I believe, as the ones with Felissa in it. So
okay, that's I can see the thumbnail in my head now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was, I wish I could have, it was actually filmed in LA. That's where he's based out of. So
Okay.
I wasn't able to go out there and be on set, but I'm excited to like talk to Felissa about it and, see, how, just hear little bits and pieces, and maybe I'll feel like I was there a little more.
Yeah. And she will be at Bride of Frankencon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we did get a little news that she won't be there until Friday evening now, which
Gotcha.
that's it's fine though. I mean,
Yeah.
she's one of those that makes plenty of time for fans, and
Right.
she's cool. I mean, she's just a sweetheart. Well, you know what? That kind of segues us into something. So we were talking about before the show TikTok, and it's a modern media source, right? Like at this point, Facebook is for old people like myself, over the hill dudes that type with one finger at a time. I don't do that, but like, do you think that that's where we're going? Are we headed towards bite-sized pieces of horror rather than?
I mean, I've had this discussion with different filmmakers and stuff, because it is, I mean, even me, I'm 34, and there'll be some evenings where I'm sitting there swiping through my reels, and then I look at the clock and I went, oh my gosh, it's already 10:30. There's no way I can start anything. So, I mean, it's a lot harder now, like versus like when, even when Unlisted Owner came out, like in 2017, it was a lot easier for people just to sit down and, put on an hour and a half movie, or, and just sit there and watch it. And now, like, people's attention spans are like, so like, if you don't like something, you just swipe. You don't have to get out of the chair and eject the DVD or even hit the back button on Netflix and start trying to find something to watch. You just sit there and just go. So, I mean, I really do believe that, unfortunately, that I feel like stuff may be moving more that direction versus the traditional method. But there's still going to be people that like the traditional thing. The thing I'm most worried about is AI. That's the thing that worries me, especially, I mean, the way how fast it has like gotten like more legit, the
Yeah.
images. I mean, I've had some friends post some stuff and I'm like, my God, like this looks like this was actually taken of this person, and it's not. And, who knows, like 5 years from now, I mean, people are already making songs. I mean, I can see people like putting in like, make a horror movie but then start feeding it, like Casablanca, all these, some of the best movies of all time, and infuse it with horror elements, and then make a script that's like, oh my gosh, like this is insane. So, I mean, it's stuff like that that's going to be kind of scary and very hard to compete against. Or, people just be at home and they'll be like, well, I want to watch a movie tonight. How about if we have a movie that's like this one and this one and this one, and put it together and they can watch it on their computer instantly. That's the stuff I'm kind of, worried about.
And that's one of those questions, right? You already got into one of my question bank.
Oh,
questions.
man.
So, John Devlin was on the show, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was the filmmaker behind Erecting a Monster, and he's making a sequel to Erecting a Monster for Bride of Frankencon.
Nice.
He is big into AI art. He's making AI art. So he loves it, but I think
the main problem for me is if it gets to the point to where, like anybody can, if you're just at home and you're just like, I'm just going to put in these scripts and stuff, and you don't even have to have someone else make the AI stuff for you. You just make it yourself.
Yeah.
So then you're just, everyone's just it's basically making like everybody's in like kind of their own little bubble anyways, with the way, Facebook and Twitter. I mean, all these different, TikTok, because stuff you like, they just cater to that. They don't let you explore other things. Like once you start liking stuff, it's already putting in like, oh, well, Corey likes, horror films. So, we're going to cut out all these other films. We're just going to stick to horror stuff. And it's like, oh, you like this specific actor. We're just going to start feeding you stuff with this actor. And, so it's like it like limits to what you what you like. And I mean, how many times, used to, you're just flipping through the channels and nothing's on, and then you stumble across something and you're like, wow, this is amazing. You wouldn't have found it any other way if you hadn't have been, looking for something, versus you're just feeding stuff into a computer and getting instant gratification.
That's so that of all the times I've asked that question of how do you feel about AI generated art, I don't think that we've ever discussed how it can pigeonhole you. So
yeah. I mean, if people are creating it, that's great, for entertainment, but it's going to get to the point to where you're just making your AI art for yourself, and you're not going to get a reaction out of anybody else because they're making their own stuff.
That's a good point too. Yeah, I mean, eventually it'll get sort of like homogenized, I guess.
Yeah, everyone will just be at home making like, hey, what do what movie do you want to watch? Because I mean, I know there's people that the wife goes in one room and the husband goes in the other room and watches what they want. So now it's going to be like, just you, instead of trying to find something to watch, you're just gonna, or swiping through your phone, you're just going to be like, okay, I want this and this, make me something, let's watch it. If you don't like it, then you're like, okay, then take this and this and make me something and watch it.
That's a good point. John's going to watch this. John, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, smash that like button, buddy, and let me know what you think. Okay, no, great points. And my thing is I just worry about people ripping other people off, but it's also, there's something beautiful about mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, there's something, like,
yeah, like the stormtrooper in Star Wars that hits his head when he's coming through the door, and Puppet Master 2, where the girl backs up against the wall and knocks over the lamp, and you can see the stagehand grab the lamp.
I mean, chances are we wouldn't even be talking about these. Well, I mean, Star Wars is a different beast, right? Yeah. But like, chances are we wouldn't be talking about Puppet Master 2, right. If not for that. I mean, there's a Linnea Quigley movie called I think it's called Murder Weapon. Vinegar Syndrome put it out on a Blu-ray, like a 2-pack. And there is a scene where there is clearly a dude just like holding a beer. He's like a grip or a sound guy or something, just clearly chilling in the shot. Like, stuff like that. Would you talk about that movie otherwise? Probably not.
Yeah. It's like it's like The Room, I mean, the spoons and the picture frame. I mean, there's so much, greatness in that.
It's just, I don't want things to be too sanitary, limitation is what really makes art, like the ability to break through a limitation in spite of the limitation is what makes art really impactful to me. So I like the limits, just to see what Jaws, that the shark sucked. So let's do it anyway. Night of the Living Dead, countless problems,
Yep.
That's what makes movies great.
Yeah.
All right, let's go way back, Jed. But first, Jed, you like wearing t-shirts, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you like wearing hoodies?
Yeah, I love hoodies. Yeah.
So you can't get this one anymore because this is very old, but I got this Funhouse hoodie in approximately when did I get this damn thing? 2004, 2005. It's very old, but you know where I got it?
Where?
Fright Rags.
All right. Fright Rags.
The sponsor of Spooky Dudes, fright-rags.com. You guys can go to their site right now, get t-shirts, socks. There's a bunch of Joe Bob stuff. I know you guys like Joe Bob. Don't play. They got a new collection of Evil Dead Rise stuff. People are I'm seeing mixed results on the movie, but the merch is sweet. You can save 10%. Spooky Dudes 10 is the code. fright-rags.com. Okay, now I'm done chilling.
Well, I'm really hoping if anyone from Fright Rags is listening, I'm really hoping they come out with another House 2, the second story shirt, because mine is starting to wear a little bit, and it's like my favorite horror shirt that I have.
They have I don't know if they took it off the site or not, but they did have a way you could request reprints. And if enough people would request it,
well, everyone requests that, because I would love to have another House 2, the second story shirt.
I want you to have that. I will see what I can do.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I love that movie.
Dude, both house movies are great.
Yeah.
I,
For
the,
for the longest time, my mom, whenever I was a kid, and you saw something on TV you wanted to watch, you just put it in a VHS and you hurry up and hit, record. So for the longest time, I had half of House 2, and my mom had put a label on it, and it was called Jesse and the Mummy. So I went my whole life thinking this movie is called Jesse and the Mummy. And when I got older, I'm like, I want to get this thing on DVD. And I'm Googling them. I can't find it anywhere. And then I kind of write a little bit more of what I could remember. And I'm like, House 2, the second story, that's nothing. It doesn't sound anything like Jesse and the Mummy.
Jesse and the Mummy.
Which, I mean, his name was Jesse and his grandpa was a mummy. So
true. That's a good title.
Yeah.
It's
Jesse
not as good
the
as House
2, the second story.
That's that, like we've got Asylum Pictures, where they like instead of Sharknado, it's like Tornado of Sharks or something.
Yeah.
Could have Jesse and the Mummy as a rip off of House 2. Well, let's go back to that time when you were a kid, Jed, and what got you into this crazy genre in the first place?
I mean, I guess when I was a kid, I was like always fascinated by horror. I mean, when I grew up, I was watching Scooby-Doo, House 2, the second story, King Kong versus Godzilla. My mom had actually got me the first horror movie I really remember watching was Vincent Price's House on Haunted Hill. I had it on a VHS.
I love that movie.
Yeah, such a great film. And then one night, whenever I was probably like 8, I snuck downstairs and my parents had HBO and I turned it on and it was Puppet Master. They had this girl, she was laying in bed. She gets out of bed and there's a guy laying in bed and she leaves the room. And when she comes back in the room, there's Blade on top of him, just cut him to pieces. And like, that was like my first like introduction to like, oh my gosh, this is insane, and you watch, and then I go back and watch it now and it's like, what? But yeah, I mean, those elements, but like what the crazy thing is like what really got me wanting to start making horror films. It wasn't until I saw Eli Roth's Hostel. That's whenever everything changed for me.
Okay. That movie is real divisive.
Yes.
Big time.
Yeah, it was I think I was either in high school or just out of high school. And my friend Lindsay, we were actually at her house one night. Me and my friend Gavin is actually an unlisted owner. And there were some other people there too. And we heard all this stuff about Hostel, like how crazy of a film this is. So we rented it. And I was just like, I can't believe this. This is blowing me away. Like seeing this, like, I can't believe what I'm watching. Like, this is like at that point in time, I had never been out of the country. And like me, like, I like to make friends and, talk to people. And I could just like see myself being put in a position where you put your trust in somebody, not in that particular situation, but in general is like putting your trust into someone you just met, especially when you go to another country and you don't know anybody. And like this person's like, yeah, I'll show you around. There's some cool, sites to see or whatever. I'll be like, yeah, historic sites, I'm in. And then you end up in a torture chamber.
It is like there is a hard split in that movie where it turns into like a different film.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the sequel. Like, for years. I thought Hostel 2. I still to this day will tell people if you didn't like the first one necessarily,
watch the second one.
I get it. Watch the second one.
Which I met Heather. I think it's Marazzo, I think is her name. The one that's hung upside down. She's like in Jersey or Sorority Boys and Princess. I think it's Princess Bride. I'm pretty sure with Anne Hathaway. I think it's that.
She also in?
But anyways,
Matarazzo, I think.
Yeah. So I had the opportunity to meet her, and she was so sweet, and was talking about how that scene she just wanted to do something different, and it was just such a iconic scene.
Oh yeah, you don't imagine her doing that scene.
No.
Scream 3. She plays Jamie Kennedy's little sister, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
The movie obsessed people. Oh hey, it's that Unlisted Owner guy. Nice, says Dustin.
That's me.
Yeah, Dustin. Dustin will be at Route of FrankenCon too. You come meet Jed.
Yeah, come hang out.
He's an indie film. Dustin is a local actor,
Oh, cool.
and he's like his little picture that it's sort of hard to see, but he's
Yeah, I
like
see
a
the
crime
closed
scene
caption.
investigator guy.
Yeah, I
He
see
gets to
that closed
do
captions.
like these true crime documentaries. They
Oh,
cast
that's
him
pretty awesome.
because he's bald and he looks legit. You know, he looks like a cop.
There we go.
You guys can talk about that because you've been a security guard and then he's
Um,
been a cop. So you
I've
guys.
been I've been a cop in 3 films so far, security guard in 1.
Oh, nice. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I've been, let's see, in Tory Jones's They See You, I was a cop. In a Tollywood film, which is like Bollywood, it's just a different language.
Mm.
I played a cop in it, and then for Moonlight Films, Grim Reaper 2, which they're getting ready to do Grim Reaper 3, and I'm actually going to reprise my role as Caleb Wilkins in that. I play a cop in that as well. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Hey, I've got They See You. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't have it's not a big scene, but I'm in it. And then there's also a Unlisted Owner Easter egg in the film if you can find it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm stoked about that.
So keep your eyes peeled.
I bought it at Days of the Dead in Atlanta. I think it was Roman that sold it.
Roman.
To me.
Yeah, Roman's a good guy. Yeah. He actually was DP in the scene I was in.
He seems like super cool.
Oh yeah, he's a super great guy.
He's got a movie that was just being kickstarted.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Lake Placid or
Park Placid.
Park Placid. Yeah. Sorry, Roman, I messed up the title. I knew it was something.
I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. But I backed it. I'm stoked about it. I try to back it gets expensive after a while, but like I try to back everybody's stuff as much as I can.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm always, I've never ran a crowdfunder for a film. Maybe, in the future I might, but yeah, I always like to help support because, being on that side of the fence, it is hard. Especially, like the shoot I got coming up, there's a lot that goes into it that, you don't really, the same thing with a con, a lot goes into a lot of money that, you're not really 100% anticipating at the time. But
just what everybody needs to understand is I haven't had I don't think I've had a single guest on the show yet that what I'm talking to them about is their primary source of income. Like,
yeah, that's right.
Everyone has a day job and is doing this as a labor of love. So,
yeah, well, even, big bands that we grew up, listening to, those guys, some of them have, day jobs and then they go out on tour for a couple months and come back home. And, it's just, the fact physical media is not the main source of income or the way you watch, watch films or, listen to music. You get, a few cents from Amazon versus whenever someone buy a Blu-ray or DVD, you get, 20 or, $25. So it's a big difference there.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes it hard.
A little harder to feed your family on 3 cents of viewing.
Yeah. 100%.
First horror film you can remember, or is it Jesse and the Mummy?
True horror film, it would have to be Puppet Master, as far as like gory, but then probably either House 2 or House on Haunted Hill. I can't remember which one I saw first. So
something about a domestic building.
Yeah,
it was House 2 or House on Haunted Hill. Something about a house. Hey, I got your sequel, Unlisted Owner 2: The Second Story.
Oh, there we go. We go.
Surely they can't sue you over that.
Now that you said it, probably.
Trademark Jed Brian, Lawford County Productions. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite subgenre of horror?
Classic horror.
Let's go deeper than that. Classic horror, black and white, silent.
Yeah. Just black and white. I would say from 1960 before. That's from Lon Chaney, Phantom of the Opera through Straight Jacket with Joan Crawford, that era of horror. Have you ever seen Straight Jacket?
Not the whole thing. I've seen clips.
Highly recommend. I love that movie.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Who directed it? Do you remember?
William Castle, I'm pretty sure.
I have seen it, but it has been I have seen it, but it's been so long since I just had found out about William Castle when I watched it. So that had to be 20 something years ago. So yeah, it's been a minute. I have seen it though.
Yeah.
It's good.
So like that era, like I'm a huge like classic film buff, like Lon Chaney, Peter Lorre, Bogart, Edward G. Robinson, Karloff, Lugosi. Like, I love that era, the golden era of Hollywood. I just love the just the whole, like this is a movie star type look to those films. I just, I've always been drawn to the classic side of it. Three Stooges. I'm a huge Three Stooges fan. So like, Marx Brothers, like, black and white. I just love black and white film.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's got a rich look to it,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
yeah. I mean, and you think about the tools that they had back then and what they were able to pull off. It just blows your mind. I mean, people can't even replicate some of the stuff that they did is the crazy thing.
no doubt.
I mean, it's just like building the pyramids, like they don't know how, back then, some of the stuff they do is just like, wow. Like, it took them years to figure out how they did. It was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, how they made the actor, his face transform in camera. And it was, end up being a filter, but, for them to figure out that type of stuff and be able to keep those secrets, it's just, insane.
I mean, you're talking about like the people who walked so everybody else could run. They're figuring this out for the first time.
Yeah. And making stuff that's, amazing and still holds up today. I mean, people still revere, Casablanca as one of the greatest films of all time, and right there with The Wizard of Oz as well. So, it's stuff that people can still watch today and, it still holds up. And that's the most impressive part to me. I mean, Universal Monsters, I mean, Frankenstein and Dracula, their looks and like how, especially how Dracula talks. Yeah. I mean, that's Lugosi. I mean, you can't see Dracula without, a true Dracula has the Lugosi, Hungarian accent. And then, Frankenstein, it doesn't matter, if my 2-year-old or, my 4-year-old, whenever he draws Frankenstein, it's always, flat on the top. I mean, it's just,
Yeah. I mean, that's well, and the good news about that too is I think you can get your kids into that at a much earlier age than somebody that just loves, Italian cannibal films.
Yeah.
I mean, people can do what they want.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jace and I, we watched, we've watched like Frankenstein. I think we watched Bride of Frankenstein. The first horror movie he actually watched with me, which Jace is my firstborn. This is whenever it was in the very beginning stages, he was only like a few days old, and it was one of those things where you had to stay up and, feed him constantly. And to stay up one night, I watched Freaks for the first time with him. So that's just always that's a treasured memory I'll have.
Todd Browning.
Yep. Yeah. I had heard a lot about it. And it was one of the films, like, I think we all have those films where it's like, oh, you haven't seen that movie. So it was like one on my list of where, almost everyone had seen it and I had never saw it. So I'm like, I'm going to rent it and see how good it is. And I'm like, I was just blown away by, Harry Earls' performance in it.
That's awesome, dude. That's, yeah, man. First time answer on the show for that.
All right.
Now we're going to flip the script. Least favorite subgenre of horror.
Oh, man. I really don't. I guess I don't have one. I feel like each genre has a movie that, stands out to me. Like, I really don't. I mean, I love weird, obscure, like Greasy Strangler. And then I love, I love, found footage like, Blair Witch Project. And, I love slashers like Halloween and, it's like, I can't really in classic horror and cinema. Like I guess there's not really, I love doll movies, puppet movies. Like I don't know. I guess there's not, I feel like each genre has at least one film that I could probably name off that stands out.
For sure.
So like, I guess I don't really have a least favorite. If the film's good, I'll watch it. It's one of those things.
Can you think of like Okay, maybe to make it easier. Like not you don't have to hate every film of the subgenre, but some maybe like a subject matter that you're not into, something some defining
I
characteristic.
guess like exorcism films and stuff, like, you know, like The Exorcist, like that type of stuff. Like I guess I don't really gravitate, like if I'm scanning through horror films, like I'm not like, I don't really seek those out. Like, and there are
Okay.
good ones in it, but it's like, it's not, I guess it wouldn't be my favorite, but you
Okay.
know, like I said, I feel like each genre has like, it's not like, oh man, that genre, that's terrible. If something comes up, I don't have anything like that, but I would say like probably like, exorcism films, stuff like that.
Okay.
Religious horror, I guess. It just doesn't really, doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not super religious, so like it doesn't have the impact on me that it would have on somebody who was brought up in a church environment.
But it's like, it's just, I don't know, just something about it just, doesn't really, but I'd much rather like watch, a bunch of teenagers like in a camps.
It's more fun, right? Right. It's more. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, for
yeah,
sure. Friday the
yeah,
13th, Part 4,
yeah,
or okay, Part 6. Friday the 13th, Part 6 versus The Exorcist. Which one's a
yeah,
more fun time?
yeah,
100%. C.J. Graham
yeah,
trashing teenagers, right?
yeah. There you go.
Okay, back to your history here. What is a VHS cover you remember from childhood or from the video store?
King Kong versus Godzilla.
That took you no time to come up with.
The reason is because 20 what was it, 2014, they had a con in Louisville, Kentucky, and they had all the Godzillas there, including is it Hiro? I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the guy who played the original Godzilla was there. So I brought my VHS of King Kong versus Godzilla and had him sign it. It's kind of beat up looking and stuff, but it's one of my prized things I have that was signed. And yeah, so I have that. So that's one VHS cover. It's always stuck with me.
Okay, and I just found a cover. Is it both of them standing on either side of a pagoda
Yeah.
and like Godzilla breathing fire and
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I'll have to show you sometime. I'll have to show you the
Yeah.
picture.
No, for sure. I'm never sure if I'm finding the originals or not, especially when it's an import title.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult because the poster
It's like
different.
it's kind of blue. It has some blue on it. Is that the one? Or maybe not. Maybe you're not looking at the right one.
This this one is being sold at Best Buy, I think.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't think it's the right one because this one has like a blue. Let me see, VHS. This one's I found it $10 for it. It's this one right there. That's it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, it's similar. They just moved them closer together on this cover.
Yeah.
That one looks cooler. The one you got.
Yeah. I've always, like I said, when I was a kid, I thought it was pretty awesome. And the House on Haunted Hill VHS cover is pretty cool.
Oh, dude. Did you see the Waffle House on Haunted Hill poster that Unlovely Frankenstein did?
No, I have not seen that.
Oh my God.
I'll
look at it. I think I can this is riveting television. There's a way I can share this on here. You guys can actually buy this poster on Etsy.
Out there.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, that's awesome. That is amazing.
Scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, topped, and diced.
That's awesome. When I was out in LA last year doing the that Leica Studio Paranorman, you've heard of Paranorman, right? You've seen it.
Oh yeah, I watched you. You sent me a link. Yeah, I definitely watched it.
So Leica did a Leica Creators thing to where they had different YouTube channels do a live action version of one of the scenes, and they hit up Alex for ACM Official, and Alex had me come out to LA, and I played the zombie in the scene where the zombie goes through the door. And one of the things we did while we were out there is we went up and saw the Ennis house, or the Frank Lloyd Wright house, where they actually did the exterior shots from House on Haunted Hill. And so we drove up the hill and stuff. So you can actually go to, if you're ever in LA and you love House on Haunted Hill, you can drive past it. It's kind of a tight, narrow road, and it's hard to get a very good look at it, but you can actually see it. So
Does someone own it now? Like, can you walk
there's
up and get a picture?
I mean, when we went, they have a big gate in the front.
Okay.
So it's not like you can like walk up next to it or anything like that, but you can see through the gate, and the parking's not the best. And I mean, the road is, if you've seen the film, the road is very narrow going up there, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see that. I mean, there's a lot of neat, like, little things for classic horror fans or classic film fans in general. Like, they still have the Three Stooges stairs, the stairs that the Three Stooges go up, and can't remember which short it is, but Curly's like carrying ice up the steps, and they still have the handrail. I mean, it's still the original handrail and everything.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I'd love to go on a little tour and see some stuff like that.
Yeah, it was pretty. We went out to Hollywood Horror Nights, and we actually got to walk on the back lot. So we actually walked through the area. We actually got to walk through the Bates Motel. I was walking right past the room where, where the shower scene. I mean, it didn't take place in there, but her room. I walked past it, and then they had a guy dressed up as Norman Bates. It was on the front porch of the actual Psycho house, and we got our picture up there. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is awesome. Favorite type of physical media?
Probably Blu-ray.
Just because of the quality jump? Or?
Yeah, the quality. And it seems like there's more like director's cuts and stuff that come out on Blu-ray. Gettysburg is one of my favorite films, especially war films. And I didn't even know it, but they had a director's cut of it. The movie's already like almost 3 hours. So the director's cut's like, I don't even know how long. It's insane. So I feel like there's more cool special stuff, like with the Blu-rays and stuff. That's kind of like the main reason I like it. But DVD is kind of a close second, because there's a lot of stuff that came out on DVD that didn't come out on Blu-ray.
That's
so
true.
There's a lot of classic films that you can't get on Blu-ray, so you have to go back to the DVD format. But at least you have it.
Yeah, and I think DVD was a big jump. We've got a lot of, I get it. A lot of people kind of romanticize VHS, and I think mainly because of the video store and nostalgia. But the format itself kind of sucks.
Yeah. It's not the best. I definitely, DVD definitely was, it seems like there's a lot of titles that weren't even put on VHS that they put on DVD later. So, but yeah, I really, Blu-ray is my top choice. And if I can't get it on Blu-ray, then I get it on DVD.
And then we'll probably have 8K before too long.
It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy.
Okay, and follow up to that, do you still collect and or watch movies on physical media?
Oh yeah. My wife's like, why are we getting you got another DVD in the mail? We're running out of room. But I think, like, for me, I love the artwork. I love to be able to have something that I can pull out and then pop in. And another thing is too, with the way these streaming services are going, when you subscribe to a streaming service, you're not guaranteed what content's going to be on there. And if they take it off, and you can't watch it. So to me, this is a way to fight, these, streaming services and corporations that are, fighting censorship of, limiting what you can and can't watch. I mean, there's just you're leaving up to a few people to determine what you're going to be able to watch on their streaming service versus, if they like, say something happens where they're like, oh, we don't like this movie, and they pull it off there, you can't watch it. So, but if you have it at your home, they can't come to your home and take it from you.
Yeah. And to Jed's point, that is regardless of if you're a subscriber or you've rented the film or purchased the film. Like even if you purchase, Spider-Man or what's the latest thing that came out? The newest Star Wars movie. Even if you purchase that on Amazon or Vudu or whatever, technically it can be pulled from you. The license to watch it can be pulled if they lose the right to show it, you lose the right to watch it.
Yeah, it's
it's
a rough deal, and a lot of people don't understand that. I mean, I feel like there are a lot of people that still love physical media, and that's the good thing. Yeah, I mean, I know Netflix just recently quit sending out DVDs. They like a lot of people were kind of shocked they were still doing it. But
I was shocked that they were still doing it. I didn't know.
But yeah, it's just kind of a sad deal. But yeah, I think as long as people, still have that nostalgia and still want to actually hold that physical movie in their hand, there's still going to be people that are going to collect it, and there'll be a place for it.
Absolutely.
And it helps support artists too.
No, for sure. That's why I always like to buy whatever the level is where you get the Blu-ray or the DVD from a Kickstarter, Indiegogo. I always like to hit that level.
Yeah.
All right. We already did the AI generated art. You kind of preemptively struck me with that answer.
Sorry.
It's all good. Well, now we get to get controversial because I have a couple of, the AI one is sort of controversial. This one's worse. What are your thoughts on sort of the cancel culture? Well, that's what we'll call it. Cancel culture and sort of canceling a movie because of the behavior of somebody who was involved, say like a Weinstein or
I feel like with that, like I feel like the worst part to me is to be like, your collateral damage. Like, someone did something horrible. I mean, they have every right to be, throw the book at them. But to me, the worst part is like if you protest a film, especially from a filmmaker standpoint, I can't imagine like making a movie and hiring an actor that, you think is a stand-up guy. And then, a couple of years later, he does something bad. And then, your movie it just financially ruins you. And it's like, it's something that's completely out of your control. Or, if you have a movie in the can and then something happens, and that's the hard part, like I feel sorry for the people that are caught up in the collateral damage. And, and that's probably the worst part for me is to think about, being on this side of it, or even having a crew member. I mean, not necessarily a star, even a crew member that does something horrible. And then, having your whole film completely ruined because you had this one person that's associated with it. And, it's like, what do you, I can't imagine having to go through that.
No, it takes a lot of folks to make a movie. So
yes, it does. And that's the thing. It's like, how many people in history do we know that did something horrible and everyone just thought they were, a stand-up person? I mean, you look all through history and there's people like that, they live double lives. I mean, everyone thought they were a stand-up person and they had all these horrible secrets and these bad things that they had done and, had hid them from everybody. And, and then but I guess it's just a risk you got to take in today's world, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Significantly less controversial, maybe. What's your favorite costume or mask or we'd say prop from a horror movie?
I would say my favorite that I could actually, if I could have it myself, like probably, man, that's a tough one because there's a couple. I would have to say probably Lon Chaney Jr.'s Kane from The Wolfman.
Oh, that's a good one.
With the pentagram on it and the wolf, like that would be a pretty cool piece of, movie memorabilia, or the original, Creature from the Black Lagoon mask, probably.
Both of which would be worth an absolute fortune.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure that mask has been decimated and it's been rotted in a landfill and eaten by birds and pooped out again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even like one of Lugosi's capes, because, he was actually buried in one.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be pretty cool to have too.
Okay, so really hard stuff to get then. Okay.
Yeah. Very hard stuff.
All right, this one's going to be tough, Jed. I'm sorry.
Oh, go for it.
3 films that every horror film fan needs to see.
I would have to say, for me, it would be, and these aren't necessarily my all-time favorites. Just these are ones I feel like that would definitely benefit. I would have to say, I think Psycho for sure.
Good one.
The original Phantom of the Opera, which is my all-time favorite film.
Love it.
And then I would have to say probably Hostel. And that's 3. And you said 5, right?
3. No, 3.
Okay, 3. Okay, yeah, 3. I couldn't remember it's top 5 and top 3. I was trying to think there.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Those are varied answers too. That's good.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like you need to spread it out for people to see and and just kind of see what there is to offer out there.
Oh, for sure. Good answer. Okay, here you go. Let's get back to a little controversial topic. What are your thoughts on bootlegging of out of print titles?
Oh, that's a conundrum there. Like, I think it's kind of a tough one because, like, I mean, there's films out there that I want to see, especially classic stuff, or like even there's a film from when I was a kid. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's called George's Island. Can't find it anywhere on it came out on VHS. It's kind of like it's like a ghost pirate movie. Basically this guy buried these pirates buried this treasure, and there's like a curse. Like the pirates get get killed, and they have to like guard this treasure. And there's like this grandpa that's like an old like sea dog, and he's like drinks all the time, and he has his son or grandson that he kind of watches over. And anyways, they get wrapped up in this adventure to where they end up going to George's Island and try to find the pirate treasure. So, but there's like ghost pirates and stuff. But I mean, that one's out of print, and I would love to see it again. So, I mean, I can understand people's want, but yeah, I mean, if it's public domain stuff, it's no problem. But I mean, I'm all about supporting the artists. So I don't know. It's kind of a catch-22. I mean, a lot of the stuff, I mean, it is out there. So, I mean, it is easy to access. I mean, a lot of it's probably just on, I imagine if I went on YouTube, George's Island, probably on YouTube right now, but
probably.
I need to look, but I know I looked on physical, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a tough question. I really don't have an answer for it. Cause it's like, like for me, I mean, I know it is easy to get your stuff out there. I mean, you could upload it on YouTube if you're an artist and put ads with it. So, but
you got bootlegged a little bit, right?
Yeah, and it sucks. I mean, it does suck. I mean, Unlisted Owner. I mean, people were uploading it on YouTube and all these different sites and stuff. And it's like, I mean, you can watch it on like Amazon, or you can watch it on and it or right now you can watch it on Plex or Tubi. So it's like, why waste your time pirating it whenever you can watch it free on these other apps and then give the artists some money so they can create more stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I guess the only time I'm good with is probably like I said, for out of print, something where the rights are tied up in some limbo that where you're literally never going to see it unless some guy has a laser disc rip that he's selling at the flea market, right?
Right. Or or it goes to public domain.
Or that. Yeah. I don't want people to not get paid for their art, but
Right.
also like if it's something that's just not being made available, I like the idea of bootlegging because it leads to fewer lost films, right?
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's so many. I mean, London After Midnight is probably the most famous lost film out there. And if someone had a bootleg copy of it, it'd be amazing. But yeah, I mean, I see both sides of it, and it's just it's kind of a hard question to have a like this is a right, this is a wrong type answer to.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last one I got for you. What advice would you give an up and coming artist So in your case, an up and coming filmmaker, what would you tell them to do before they get started?
Just go and watch films and go out there and try and just see what you can do. Sit down. I mean, when I started, there was no information like there is now on like, how to get started. Now there's so much out there of like, what to do. I mean, there's tutorials on YouTube on how to edit a complete video that wasn't out there before. So, I mean, just do some research, watch a lot of films, figure out what you like and what you're passionate about. I mean, to me, like, don't try to make something where you're like, oh yeah, this is going to make me money. Just make something that you like, something you enjoy, so you can have that passion.
That's good advice. I mean, we're at a point where the technology is so cheap. We're all carrying around, film cameras in our pocket.
Yeah.
Just do it. Lloyd Kaufman says, make your own damn movie. So.
Yep, that's right.
All right,
it's not
Jed.
with AI.
Well, we got your link for Unlisted Owner Run there in the ticker, but any plugs you want to throw out?
Yeah. If you guys if you aren't a physical media collector, you can watch Unlisted Owner's Director's Cut on Tubi. You can also watch it on Amazon Prime and on Plex. Also, tonight, there should be a release on ACM Official called Magic 8 Ball that I actually co-wrote on. So be sure to tune into that. The channels I think we have like 273,000 subscribers on the ACM Official channel now.
Wow. So
some of the shorts have over 5 million views. So it's getting kind of crazy with the channel. And we actually are filming a short film next weekend, which I'm very excited about. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, so be sure to support your indie artist, and so we can keep creating more cool content. And come to FrankenCon, come say hi. I'll be there. I'll sign, take pictures, or even if you don't want to buy something, at least stop by and say hey. And if you have any questions or anything, just I'd be more than happy to hang out and see what's up.
It's going to be a good time, dude. And
I'm excited.
June 9th and 10th, the Knoxville Airport Hilton, it's in Alcoa, Tennessee, but they say Knoxville, so whatever.
Right.
Same diff.
Yeah.
Come on out. Well, Jed's there, Nigel Box there. We got Donald Farmer. I mean, it's an indie film lovers paradise. And we also got CJ Graham, Felissa Rose, and Tom Matthews. So something for the whole family.
There we go.
Yes. Thank you, Jed. We will do this again.
Awesome.
At some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll schedule another one 3 months into the future.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
There we go.
All right. Everybody out there, remember, take your vitamins, say your prayers, and stay spooky, my dudes. Ripping off the Hulkster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.